Hi, my name is Reggie Gordon, and I'm a compassion broker and a community wealth builder. Now, my business card says something much more technical, but based upon all that I've learned and experienced over these years, I think a more accurate way to describe my life work is compassion broker and community wealth builder. You know, in my chosen career path, I've had to stop and listen to be effective as a leader. And I've had the opportunity to lead some really impressive teams in nonprofits and local government, teams that are addressing issues like looking at issues of disparity, issues that are really causing problems in our local communities and our urban communities, alleviating suffering. And those are complicated but rewarding when you start to delve into the issues. And we've had hundreds of people that have aligned with our work around those areas. Now, over these 20 years or more, I have had to get in close proximity and listen to a wide range of citizens. I mean, from people who are standing on the street corners holding a sign asking for spare change to folks who have millions of dollars in the bank and spare homes. And here is what I have learned. This is a fact. Everyone's story is unique. Number two, generalizations about a group are just not helpful. And number three, in order to get to the truth, you have to create a space where you can have a candid, non-threatening, safe conversation, maybe a series of them to understand someone's true life experience. It's listening, it's empathetic listening, and quite honestly, that's pretty hard. It doesn't come naturally because most of us have these narratives that are playing in our head about people that we don't know. We have narratives about race and gender and socioeconomic level. Like imagine you don't know anyone that lives in public housing and you happen to meet a woman that has kids and she lives in public housing. Perhaps this narrative is rising up like, I wonder what she did to end up in this predicament. I wonder why she's not motivated to do better. Conversely, let's say you're meeting a married man that's the leader of a big Fortune 500 company. He lives in a big house in a gated community. If you've never met someone like that before, I wonder if this narrative clicks in, I don't know. He must have really stepped on some people to get this far in life, and I bet he really doesn't care about those less fortunate. Let's face it, that swirls in our heads, all of us, and it's unfortunate. So I'm proposing, let's get to a new level, a compassionate movement where we really understand and appreciate everyone's varied life experiences and accept it. You know, particularly when it comes to helping the needy. I think it's time for us to move from a charity framework that really kicks into high gear between Thanksgiving and Christmas to a self-sufficiency framework that we can do year-round. Moving away from, let me give you what I think you need, to let me spend some time talking to you and understanding how I can help you thrive. I have a story to illustrate this. A few years ago, I was able to facilitate a conversation between Gail, a young woman with 3 children who lived in public housing, and a group of volunteers who lived on the other side of town. We met in a neutral, non-threatening environment. We were at a community center, sitting around a table on a Saturday afternoon. It was a great conversation. It was a nice flow to it. People laughed, they shared stories. And at one point, one of the volunteers said to Gail, she went, wow, I really like having this conversation with you. And you know, Christmas is coming up pretty soon, and we want to give you something for your kids. What do your kids need? Gail thought, and she struggled, but then she said, I can't think of anything. She said, I don't have a lot of money, but the way I'm approaching the holiday season, I want my kids to think about it's better to give than to receive. And I don't want them to have a bunch of toys. I want them to think about this is the holiday that we celebrate the birth of Christ. And so we're going to get up on Christmas morning. We're going to bake a cake. We're going to decorate it. We're going to sing happy birthday to Jesus. And then during the course of the day, we probably will think about neighbors that may be alone, and we're going to go visit them. And she said that, you know, the volunteers were almost in tears listening to Gail's story and how she described the holiday season. So we ended our conversation. Gail left, And then I noticed that the volunteers were hanging back, having a conversation in the corner. And then one of them came over to me and announced, "We have an idea. We love Gail. We've decided we're going to surprise her. We're going to get lots of toys for her kids and show up on Christmas morning. Isn't that great?" I was like, no. Did you just listen to what she said? In fact, I think it would have the opposite effect. I mean, it would sort of undermine how she's trying to raise her family, and it might be in contrast to her philosophy about life and giving. And I hated to do that, but that was the compassion broker in me kicking in. I felt like I was channeling Gail and trying to make sure that the recipient and the needy person and the donor sort of had a way to find a meeting ground. So I told them that that wasn't going to work. Well, a couple of days later, Gail calls back to my office and she says, maybe I was not comfortable saying what I really felt when we were with those volunteers. I thought about it, and there is something I need. My car is not dependable, and I need to get to my job every day, and I figured out what the problem is, and in fact, I went online and I purchased the part for the car, but when I went to the mechanic, he said it was going to cost $150. I don't have $150. So we then took that information, that specific need, we went back to the volunteers, called them up and said, "Gail called us, and here's what she said. She needs $150 to fix her car so she can get to work." The volunteers loved it, and they readily obliged, paid for the mechanic. Gail's car was fine. She got to work uninterrupted. That's community wealth building. Meeting people where they are, and the approach is to enhance their own assets and talents to get them to the next level of thriving. We are ripe for a compassionate movement of thought and deed about how we connect with one another. And this is how you can do it. I guarantee you that in the next few weeks or months, you're going to be in an environment where someone's going to bring up, "Let's do something to help the needy." Okay, when you're in that environment, it could be a school, a club, it could be your congregation, it could be your family. You, as a newly minted compassion broker or community wealth builder, will have to ask the question, did someone ask what the recipient wants or needs? I mean, people could have their hearts set on collecting teddy bears for kids in a classroom, or Thanksgiving baskets, or toys, or coats, or shoes, whatever. But somebody, hopefully you as the compassion broker and community wealth builder, will say, "I think we should ask." And if you do ask, you need to be prepared for the answer, because the answer could range anywhere from, "Wow, great, that's perfect," to, "Nope, I don't want that," to, "I just want the cash, I don't want the stuff." You gotta be prepared to deal with that. Now here's the other complication. As you have that new way of looking at how to give, someone is going to say, "That's very awkward. I know what the needy need. We know what the needy need. Just give it to them. It's turkey, it's toys, just give it to them. We do it every year." That's transactional philanthropy, and I dare say dispassionate transactional philanthropy. And man, do I know about this. When I worked for the Red Cross, we had a name for this event that would occur. It would be the second disaster. What I mean by that is, let's say there was a disaster, and then people would send in unwanted and unnecessary items, which would cause a huge problem. It's called the second disaster. We don't want second disasters. We need to evolve to a new space where we are listening to what people's needs are and meeting them there. Believing that if someone says this is what will help me to move forward, we embrace it. I know people who are living this into action. Folks who are heard this talk about a compassionate movement and have decided to listen to the needs of the people, believe that what they're talking about, and find creative ways to help. I have one friend that's created something called the Giving Wall. This is a way to take that story I just told about Gail. What she has done on a website is collected stories of people that need some specific thing to help them move forward. And you, as a going online, you can purchase that need and help the person to get to a new level of thriving. I have another couple of friends who believe in this aspect of connecting the community together by important conversations, particularly with people that you don't ordinarily meet, called Befriend. At the core, this is about proximity and being in relationships with people that you don't ordinarily know. I'm Reggie Gordon. I'm a compassion broker and a community wealth builder. I know some of you are as well. Thank you.